I was gonna go live, but I was like, nah, I just do an upload and post it. My battery was low or whatever. I was like, yeah, that must be one or two things for me to wait or for me just to do it the way I do it or whatever. So check it. When you go to sleep, you end up fasting, right? Most time we sleep for like 8 hours. That's basically the time of a day. You know what I'm saying? Or you eat a certain time of the day, and that'll be the rest of that's you don't eat no more, right? So you end up going to sleep. So that one time that you did eat, or the few times that you eat while the sun was up. Hey, what's up, little guy? The one time that you did eat. I don't know what just happened. That shit kind of glitched for a minute. But the one time that you did eat, from that time until you wake up, is your fasting time, right? The problem is we give ourselves a lot to our flesh. We give our soul to our flesh, a whole bunch. Divine gave you the strict lessons and understanding about the separation of the flesh and the soul. So there's things we're supposed to do. And when you go to sleep and you wake up, can you maintain giving yourself to divine daily? Amatsu in pa intra sauk su emit ra in pa intra awu or awu ra maketi pa heru ra. Keep yourself for the divine. Keep yourself daily for the divine and do it tomorrow as you do it today. Majority of the time, I like to eat when the sun is leaving the earth. When it's starting to leave the day, it's starting to go down. So anywhere from like after 3 o'clock, 4, I'll go eat something like that. You know what I'm saying? But majority of the day, I leave my body available for the divine. When you eat and your organs got to work, they got to work to do other things. That means your complete physical focus is off. Even with your brain and your mind, you might see things outside of you and be able to multitask as your body is digesting food. But in the same pretense, your brain and everything else is taking nutrients from that food. So that means your whole entire body is working while you're eating. So if you can fast, right? If you can fast from the time you wake up until the sun transitions to go down or starts to transition, then you in a good spiritual placement. You will start to be in a good spiritual placement. If you can humble yourself or be humble with the divine within your own actions and strengthen the being still. You being still with yourself is going to refine your soul. It's going to refine you via the way you sit with your soul. Saying less. Just because we was able to start talking and using formulations of symbols to formulate words, don't mean you're supposed to move your mouth all the time. Try to limit it to a certain amount of time a day. And this is introspection. Instead of saying things, look within and look how that affects you instead of commenting or being involved in other things that take the action that you speak. These are just different divine traits that you should use in order to adhere to divinity because they strengthen the first thought. You heard? They strengthen the first thought and they strengthen the signals and the antennas that are into you, that are inside of you, that has the energy gravitating towards you. So therefore you get a better and clearer opportunity to hear what you're trying to listen to. Electrical foods are good. Being vegan is good. In the same breath though, to be vegan, you have to eat more. So it's not even about intaking, it's about balance. If you can balance out what you intake, it don't really matter what you digest. As long as you're not digesting parasites, of course. But I'm saying, if you're going to eat with a moderation and a balance, and also use the same effort that you put it in to remove it. So the nutrient concept. And then increasing the body's function to pull all nutrients from food is also a thing as well. So maintaining the physical structure, so therefore you can be in more of a spiritual energy That's a work in itself, but don't be dogmatic on it so long to where that's all you do, where you end up living your life only trying to keep the factory working right and never get a chance to work the factory. So these things will allow you to adhere, to listen to what divine has to say to you. And when that's happening, you're going to grow in those rights. You're going to grow in that direction. You see what I'm saying? And you're going to be more polished in a way that represents you, not what you adhere to as far as what you like or a character other than what's yours and was given to you by divine. So that's how you start building those things if you want that information. You know what I'm saying? Also, y'all know I do one-on-one consultations and all that. Hit me up, set an appointment, or just contact me to see what it takes to get an appointment. You know what I mean? And after your first appointment, if you're interested in having me as a guide, you know, you can decide from the things that I use and what comes about in that value. But aesthetically, we were all made to look as if we weren't supposed to be received, because other creations that came in wasn't and hasn't been received by their own self. So that dichotomy in its own existence created a what you would like to say a projection aspect from certain individuals who would project their circumstance onto the world and want to be received via the pain that they were caused by their own people. And for those notions to have so many twists and turns, you got to keep in mind confusion itself. It only exists because it keeps you away from the basics. Like having the understanding of knowing what fasting is about and how to adhere to divine majority of the day and give your flesh the remainder part of those hours is showing favoritism to the Creator. If you're going to show favoritism to anything, it should be in the retrospect to what gave you life in the first place. This is what I mean by people don't got love for the divine. And also I wanted to add, your experiences are supposed to be, all right, you get this whole understanding that's taken from the divine and divided. Everything that people know is a divided aspect of what divine has given you. Okay? What does that mean? You act like you're afraid to live, even if you're drinking, doing whatever you want to do in your life that's negative or positive. You got to hide it. No, divine gave you the desires of your heart. The problem is you think you're doing this shit by yourself. And when you move like that, you start creating what they call the false energy inside yourself. You can never hide from divine. You got to understand what this is. You are never not in the sight of the Most High. The true supreme creator of all creators and creations, good, bad, and indifferent, you're always in the sight of that. You'll never not be under that understanding of notice and documentation. Your problem is that when someone told you free will and service to divine, they split those things in half. And they tried to make them two different relevant situations. No, every experience that you have in life is of divine. Nothing can exist without divine. The divine particles is in everything in existence. Nothing can exist without divine. So that means you're in the world of divinity. So when you think you're in divine and you're doing something secret, you're like a sickness in the body with that thought pattern. Because you believe you're not seen. You believe that you can hide from what you are. And that energy in itself creates a false retrospect of reality. So now you're carrying that frequency within inside of you. And then you can tell people whatever you want to tell them. But divine has witnessed you literally lie to yourself within your existence. I'm not going to say nothing. Nobody don't know. I'm going to do this and nobody. Divine know. Nobody. The thing that gave you access to a body knows. You see what I'm saying? Like the wordplay is a trickery. You don't even understand that you're tricking yourself by saying stupid shit. People don't understand that lying is not particularly the fact that you misuse someone's trust. Lying is an energy that you are projecting against your creation, that divine know that you are. So you can never hear none of the messages divine gonna show you via your access to wanting to have free will. That's why a lot of people be like, yo, I don't know what they talking about. I never felt that. Yeah, because you hard-headed. You like to do shit yourself. You like to go out there and think in a way indifferent to everything else, selfishly. And when you have this type of mentality, you start to cut yourself off from the synapses that allow you to feel what divine energy is about in this full totality. Look, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm just trying to show you something, man, and let y'all understand that there's nothing in this world that you should be doing without divine. And you shouldn't be afraid to do whatever you want to do with divine. Even if you end up having thoughts in the wrong aspect, just know sitting with divine and spending time being still with your soul is going to polish off your character. So any negative habits that you have that shouldn't be there, they're going to go away anyway because you with the divine. So one thing ain't got nothing to do with the next. So stop collaborating and putting situations next to the divine. You get all this defiling of the Most High. When they speak about the divine in different religions and aspects, they speak about divine and weakness. Like divine don't have a clear cognitive understanding. And we already know that's not a reality. That's disrespect. So with that being said, I ain't gonna hold y'all, yo. Like I said, man, I'm trying to show you something, man. I'm Naga the Wise. Connect with me if you're interested in getting a one-on-one consultation. You know what I'm saying? Set it up and see what it's like. And, you know, after your first one, if you want me as a guide, take it on. We'll keep it going. You feel me? So, yeah, I'm chilling right now. You already know the vibes, man. I hope y'all enjoy your day. Oh, yeah. And if ain't nobody told you today, Naga love you. Peace.